Well, welcome to this video around how to manage your time so that you're actually doing the things you want to be doing more of. So, as a fitness coach and personal trainer, so oftentimes I talk to people and they say, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. I don't take the time for myself. I'm not a priority. And in particular for women, and especially those of you who are moms who are working lots of long hours at work, it's really hard to have the energy once you've done all the things you have to do to actually get to the things you really want to do. So, how do we really allow ourselves to get to those few things every day, or maybe just one thing every day that we can do to honor our own heart and desires and not let it keep slipping away? Because every time we don't get to it, that's one more disappointment, and it's one more time that you're telling yourself very subconsciously that you're not as important as everything else that's going on in the world around you and the things that you're taking care of. Not to say that that's not a lovely way to live, to be very much somebody who serves others, but if you're always working from an empty cup, it's going to be really hard to have the energy and stamina to continue to do that, especially with a joyful heart. So, some things and some strategies we're going to talk right out of the gate about are the specifics of how you manage your time. There's 24 hours in a day. We all have things we have to do in those amount of hours, but most of us have about at least 2 hours of fudge time. You may not believe me, but it's true. You make choices with time that you have where you're not working or taking care of others, where you can do things for yourself. Now, if you're a single mom or you're working extra long hours, maybe that's shrunk down to less. Regardless, you want to kind of look at, with the time that I have that I'm making choices with, how can I be more intentional? It's very easy to let time take control of us and to let us go with the flow instead of looking at our time and telling the time where to go. Like, where do we want to take our time? What are we going to do to insert that? This might take radical change for you. It might be just small shifts. What we have to do first, though, is decide what we actually want to do. So this could look like something as simple as I'm going to journal for 5 minutes, or I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes. Maybe it's painting your toenails once a week to start with. Maybe it's every day I'm going to fill my water bottle in the morning and take my vitamins. I want you to choose one act of kindness to your body and your mind that you're going to commit to. Then you can take it a step further and look at other desires. So what fascinates you? What are things that light you up and help you feel really good and that don't require a lot of extra work to get to or a lot of extra planning? You can literally kind of sit down and start them. The goal is to find those things and start with those. One of the problems we also have is that many of us look at something we want to do and it's something big. Like, I want to start cycling for an hour on the weekends outdoors. Okay, that is like a little bit of a bigger project because there's a lot of steps that might have to go into getting to that point. You might have to find a sitter. You might need to figure out, like, is the weather going to be okay? Do you have the right equipment and clothing for that sort of thing? Is your bike tuned up? Do you have the right shoes? Is your helmet properly fit? Like, there's all these questions sometimes that can go into the back end of making just that one choice. And so if there are things like that that you want to do, consider detailing those into tasks, which are the things that you can complete in 3 to 5 minutes. A milestone is something where you've clumped some tasks together and you get to a certain tangible point. So for instance, if I'm looking at trying to meal plan better, a task might be to look up a recipe. A milestone might be to actually get all of the groceries related to my actual needs for the week for my meal plan. And the project that we're working on is to work for a consistent month of eating healthy meals for dinner. That's what we're looking at. Is we're not trying to get like, okay, I'm going to eat healthier. That's a project. That's not a task. The task is that one simple step that takes 3 to 5 minutes. And what we're looking on influencing right now are just tasks. Those tasks are going to get you to those milestones and to finish those bigger projects or goals. But we want to work on the things that are just tasks. The other thing I really want you to be clear about as you're looking at what are my desires is to track those. When we write things down and we can go back and see if we were effective in those, it's a great feedback to ourselves that we've done something to honor ourselves. And it's a kind of cool reward and check-in to say, look at what I've done. So very simply, I want you, let me go back to where I have this in your calendar. So some of you have a small calendar. that was given to you for the year. If you're watching this later on, maybe if I've recorded this and you're watching this and you don't have a very specific calendar, just find something that has a month look at a glance at a time. Okay, so I've got this beautiful planner here. It's kind of big, but mine shows basically the whole month. You can kind of see a whole month at a glance, and you'll see I've put these little numbers. I'm going to just show you half at a time so you can get a little closer look. It's backwards, but you can see that I've got little marks here that are just initials that I've circled. These are the days that I've actually done workouts. So for me, what I've put in is to be able to say when I look back, because sometimes I get frustrated that like, oh, I never have time to do the workouts I used to do, and I really want to focus on that more. I'll write in here that I did a strength workout. I put an H in here for a hike. Maybe I put an R in here for a run. And again, you can make up whatever system makes sense for you. If you have the room to write it all in, go for it. Maybe you even write the time, like I ran 30 minutes, and keep track of that. Maybe you just write the amount of time you did anything for exercise on that day. You put an X through that box to be like, check, I did it. And I want you to look at how much you can keep those check marks, X's, little symbols up on the calendar so that you can look back and see exactly what you've done in the next 10, 20, 30 days or more. But we want to start with at least that. So I encourage you to take pictures of those, send them to your friends, send them to me to show me what you've done. If you're struggling to get those on the calendar, again, it's a great opportunity for you to look at what's getting in the way. What else can I do to shift my time so that I can be a priority, even if it's for only 5 minutes of focusing on my desired goal or task for what I want to do today? You can take 5 minutes for yourself. It's totally possible. I want to encourage you that it is possible. It's a muscle that has to be worked just like anything else to choose time for yourself. You've got this. See you next time.